So, you love Panama. You have moved here to Panama. You are in the process of moving to Panama. You're researching Panama. But do you really know Panama? Let's find out. Keep watching. To another country requires diligence and work and research. And I know if you've moved here to Panama or if you're thinking of moving here, you're doing tons of research. Things like infrastructure, cost of living, healthcare, the food, the climate, which are all great things. And that's what most people focus on. But how about getting a little deeper and getting to know your new home a little bit better? Because there is a lot of trivia and other things that you might not stumble upon if you're not intentional about finding out. I've been here in Panama almost 2 years, and I had been coming since 2019. So I've learned a few interesting facts about Panama that I think would be fun to test your IQ to see if you really know your new home or your future home. So what I'm proposing we do today, I came up with a quiz, a short 25-item quiz, and we're going to go through the questions together. And it will give you a sense as to, oh, I already knew that. Wow, I didn't know that. So what I'm planning to do is I'm going to use my timer on my phone. And once I read the question, then I'm going to give you like 5, 8 seconds to think it through. And then we're going to discuss the correct answer together. Now, I want you to know I vetted all those questions and I ran them by a Panamanian friend to make sure I was on point. So, and I know in my viewership, I do have some Panamanians. And please, if I say anything that you feel is way off base and is not correct, I know you're going to tell me and I will receive it and say, I'm sorry, because I'm not Panamanian. And a lot of my information I'm getting online, and sometimes it's not 100% accurate. So, are you ready to play? I think it's going to be fun. But before I go any further, my name is Maggie Lazar. I am a registered nurse practitioner, retired now in the beautiful country of Panama. And I've been retired here almost 2 years, coming on my anniversary in January. I'm very proud of that and very thankful to be able to live this peaceful, wonderful life here. But I am also the creator of SWRA, Single Women Retiring Abroad, my new passion. This is a group of sassy older ladies who have decided to make Panama their new home where we're going to age in place while we reinvent ourselves. So if any of this sounds of interest to you, I invite you to like the video, share it with your friends, as many friends as possible, and then subscribe to the channel because, you know, this is YouTube and subscribers count. So the subscriber count counts and also the number of views, you know, so we work hard. And like I tell people, unless you're doing YouTube, you don't realize how much work goes into creating a video that's going to be of interest to you. So please go ahead and subscribe to the channel. We are at 6,000. I'm hoping to get to 10. I'm thinking maybe the end of January, but that's very, you know, ambitious, but I know it's possible. Okay, are you ready? I need you to get a pad, a pen, and then let's go through these questions and have some fun together. I'm so excited. So I came up with these questions. Creating quizzes comes easy to me because that's something I've done throughout my career. So this is not intended to be scientific. This is just for fun. We want to test your IQ to see how well you know Panama. Okay, are you ready? Question number one. And you know what? At the end of the video, I will attach a PDF with all the questions, and I will also attach the answers. You know, I have got to lose nothing, right? Ready to play? Let's go. Number one, question number one. Panama is considered A, an island, B, an archipelago, C, an isthmus. I hope I'm saying that word correctly. And D, a peninsula. I don't want to use the music of the game show that I want to do because I don't want the YouTube police to come and say, copyright strike. Okay, so I'm just going to do this. Is that okay? All right. So what answer did you come up with? Is it an island? Is it an archipelago? Is it an isthmus? Isthmus? Yay. Is it a peninsula? No, it's not an island. You know, we're going to show you the map. You know, Panama is a stretch of land that connects both North America and South America, right? It is a stretch of land with water on both sides, which is a definition of an isthmus. A peninsula is a stretch of land that juts out of, you know, the earth and the, so that's not a peninsula. We're not an island, nor are we a bunch of islands. So when you see that, know that your new home, Panama, is an isthmus, right? All right. Number two, Panama is located where? A, in South America, B, Central America, and C, in North America. Okay, I just told you the answer. Okay, if you said A, South America, if you said B, Central America, North America, okay, because Panama connects North America to the north with, is it Colombia? I always get myself messed up with the geography. And then Costa Rica to the north and Colombia to the south, I think. But anyway, we connect the north to the south, so we're in Central America. Good. Number three, Panama's official language. Listen, I don't mean to insult anybody, but if you recall, I told you on one of those Facebook pages, this woman said, "Do they speak Spanish in Ecuador?" So no insult intended, but the official language here is Spanish, English, Portuguese, nah. So you got 3 questions. You still with me? Okay, good. All right, number 4. The country's ethnic makeup is, and you need to know that, A, 50% Chinese and 50% Spanish. Think about that as you travel through Panama. B, 10% African American and 90% European. Again, look around you. What do you see? And C, a mix of indigenous, Caribbean, Spanish, European, and Chinese. Do you see 50% Chinese people walking around Panama? And 10% African American? Maybe. But do you have a mix of 90% European? And the country is a mix of indigenous, Caribbean, Spanish, European, and Chinese, and others. We have Jewish people here too, and we have some other people here, Asian. So it is a melting pot. It is a mixture of, it's multi-ethnic, and that's what gives Panama its flavor. And I remember one Panamanian said, yeah, we are a mixture of different cultures and we live harmoniously and we don't try to kill each other or anything like that. And I'm like, yes, yes, you are right. And that's one of the reasons why people with brown skin feel a little bit comfortable when they come to Panama, because we see people who look like us. It's not a shock to the system. We don't get stared at. We don't feel, like we stick out. And one other thing I said in one of my videos is like, I love the anonymity. When I get on the metro, on the bus, nobody's gawking. Mm-mm. Thank you, Panama. Thank you. All right, so that was number 4. Number 5. Now that's a trick question. The Panama Canal is the main revenue source for the country. What do you think? I know I was wrong. When I wrote the question, so the question is a true-false question. Is the Panama Canal the main revenue source for the country? Up to yesterday, I thought it was true. But the latest data said no, that the service industry, including banking and tourism, which is really strong here, is that category is the main revenue source for the country. It used to be the canal, but it's no longer, even though the canal is very important in terms of, how many ships go through, how much they charge. It's a big chunk, but it's not the main. So the answer would be false. Who knew? Maybe you thought it was the main, right? So that's why we are learning together. Number 6, the Panama Canal is still under American ownership. True, false? What do you think? It's not. The Panama Canal is fully under Panamanian ownership. Now, you know the story. Hopefully, before you came, you studied the history of the canal and you went to the Canal Museum, you watched the movie, right? The Panama Canal the ownership was transferred to the Panamanian government by U.S. President Jimmy Carter on December 31st, 1999. So it is fully owned, managed, operated by Panama. Bravo. Even though every time I think about that decision, I'm like, how did that happen? Because, we know what happens over there and how we want to own everything. So I'm sure there's a lot more that went into that decision than I'm privy to. But the answer is no, it is not under American ownership. It is Panamanian owned. Just like I didn't know that Copa was Panamanian owned. I don't know why I thought it was Colombia owned, but it's not. It's ours. Yes. All right, number 7. Are you enjoying this? I know I'm enjoying it. It's like when I cook, I enjoy my own food. I'm tasting it like, good. Life is short. Number 7, like most maybe all South American countries, Panama was colonized by A, England, B, Italy, C, Spain. This one's an easy one. The answer is England? No. Italy, you might be tempted, but we don't speak Italian here. just the language alone should be a cue for you that most of, if not all, South America was colonized by Spain. So we speak Spanish here, but yes, Spain was the great colonizer. And you could see the influence now, like the architecture at Casco Viejo, the food, ropa vieja. I'm not sure if it's Spanish or not, but lots of olives in the store, lots of tomatoes, sauces. Yes, the influence is strong, and the language, of course. So that was an easy one, okay? Now this one's going to be a little bit tricky if you've never seen this or read about it. Number 8, the country is divided into A, 30 states, B, 10 provinces, and C, 15 corregimientos or neighborhoods. The country is divided into 30 states, 10 provinces, or 15 corregimientos. What do you think the answer is? States? Do we have states here? Nah. Provinces? See. And you know, when I was in South Africa, we also have provinces there. Corregimientos are neighborhoods, smaller entities. So that would be related to the whole country. So the answer is B. Panama is divided in 10 different provinces, of which Panama is one. We have Panama City inside the province of Panama. All right. So we have another question about the most popular provinces. We can go over that. It used to be 9 provinces up to, I don't remember the year, but Panama Oeste was added because it's grown so much, it deserved to be its own province. So we have 10 provinces. The provinces are then divided into districts. We have District of Panama, and then the districts are divided into neighborhoods or corregimientos. Panama City, the District of Panama, is divided into 26 corregimientos. Panama, the province itself or the district, has 26 different neighborhoods. And when I was in Peru, Lima, the capital, had 43 corregimientos. So I guess it depends on the size. And we're going to have a question about the population in a second. Are you enjoying this? I know I am. All right. I know I've had no coffee today, so. Oh my God. Number 9. This is an important one. The political structure of Panama is A, think about politics, right? We just had an election, a multi-party democratic republic with presidential elections every 5 years. B, it is an autocratic system with a prime minister that is elected every 10 years. And C, it is a territory of the United States, just like Puerto Rico. I like this question. You know I'm silly. Okay. What do you think the answer is? Do we have a prime minister that is elected every 10 years? No. Are we a territory of the United States? No. So the answer is A. It's a multi-party democratic republic. During the elections earlier this year, I think they started with about 7 different parties. And then I think closer to the election, they were down to 5 because people were voting for different parties. And that representation is in the assembly right now. So it's truly democratic. And I don't know if you guys realize or remember during the election how active the citizenry was in voting. Panamanians are passionate about politics. They love to participate in their elections. There were lines and lines and lines, people waiting to vote. It really warmed my heart. And the participation in the election, I think the percentage was like 70+% people voted. Are you kidding me? That was amazing. We don't even have that in the US. So president is elected every 5 years. And even in Panama and some of the other provinces or districts, the mayors, or they call them alcalde, they also elected for 5 years. And there is no, what's the word I'm looking for? There's no second term. They don't run for a second term. They do their 5 years, they go off. Now they can also come back and run again. All right. So it's a true democracy. I love that for Panama. All right. Number 10. Ready? Panama is considered A, a developing country, or B, an underdeveloped country. What do you think? Is Panama like a third world country? All right, I'm getting a little bit sad if anybody says third world. I didn't even ask, right, third world, but no. Panama is considered like an emerging, what's the word that I saw today? An emerging market. They have a lot of financial services going on here. The infrastructure is not bad. So there is nothing third world about Panama. So it is considered a developing country. So if you're ever talking about Panama, please do not refer to it as a third world country. People would get upset. And, Panamanians are very proud of their country. They have issues like anybody has issues, but it is an emerging market. It's a democracy, and it is a developing country. Good for us who are here. Number 11, in Panama, we use A, the US dollar, and the Balboa coin. And it's a one-to-one exchange. You don't have to try to convert your money to dollars or to something else. And I said B would be the Spanish peso. We don't have that here. So the answer is A. We use the US dollar and the Balboa. The Balboa is a coin, but it's worth $1. They also have a 50-cent coin that is a lot bigger. Now, last week, there was in the news talk about that they have a bunch of fake Balboas being circulated in the country. I don't know if I'd be able to tell a real Balboa from a fake Balboa. And one of the ladies said they also call it the Martinelli. And, you can look and see who Martinelli is, the whole story behind that, but we're not going to address that now. All right. So we use the US dollar and we have Balboa coins. Okay. All righty. Number 12. Panama's population is about A, 10 million people, B, 4.4 million as of 2023. So it could be more now. Oh, I give you the answer. It is not 10 million, no. Lima, Peru has a population of 10, close to 11 million. Lots of people, muchas personas. But in Panama, based on the last census, we have 4.46 whatever million people. And I think about a million or two are here in the city. But anyway, so that's the population. But Panama is a small country, right? It's a stretch of land. I forgot the dimensions, and then it's narrow. And someone said you could jump in a car and drive from one end of the country to the other in a day, in 8 hours. So it is not huge. 4.4 million people, that's the population. Okay, are you enjoying this quiz? And how are you doing? Did you know the answer to most of the questions we've asked so far, right? I feel like as an expat, we need to educate ourselves, not just about the language, the food, the visa. Everybody's into the visa and everything, but we need to know those little quirks about the country. It makes it more vibrant and interesting. All right. So if you're enjoying this, remember to like, share, subscribe, all the little button at the bottom, like Sandra says. All right, number 13. Panama has a tropical climate, and therefore it is hot and humid all over the country. Now, if you don't get this one, I'm going to be upset. Is it hot and humid everywhere in Panama? Of course not. Those of you who run to Chiriquí because you do not like the heat, you know you're in the mountain, it's cooler, it's more comfortable, you sleep well at night, la 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 la, you have all the green. Yes. So it is not hot and humid all over the country. Even in rainy season, it's not hot and humid all the time. Nothing is ever one thing all the time, okay? We have variation. So the answer is false to number 13. 14, some of the most popular provinces in Panama. Now, remember, we have 10, okay? I don't even know if I'm going to remember all 10, but some of the popular ones. Remember, Panama City itself is in the District of Panama and the province of Panama. So we have Panama, Panama Oeste, where you have Arahan and all these places. They have expats in those areas. Los Santos, which is where you have, is it Pedasi? I want to say, don't quote me on that. Herrera is where you have Chitre, right? We have expats there. Los Santos, I think you have Las Tablas there, right? Las Tablas. Yes. And Colon, everybody knows about Colon, is a province. Then you have Veraguas. And then you have, we said Bocas, right? Yeah. So those are the most common one. But remember that the Darien is also a province, even though it's not populated by a lot of expats. We are warned not to live in that area, but they do have indigenous people in those areas. Okay, so the choices were Panama, oh, Chiriquí. Who can forget Chiriquí? Popular with Volcan and Boquete, right? So we have A, Panama, Chiriquí, Panama Oeste, Los Santos, yes, and B, Herrera, Colón, Bocas, Veraguas. All of these are popular expat places. I think Veraguas, you have Pedasi. Okay, I'm getting myself mixed up with the different towns, but don't hold it against me. So the answers are both A and B are correct. Those are the popular provinces of Panama where expats tend to go and navigate, they're drawn to. Okay, so that was 14. 15, Panama is prone to both hurricanes and earthquakes. What do you think? Do we get hurricanes here? I've only been here 2 years. So if you've been here 15, 20 years, you could tell me, but I don't believe we've experienced hurricanes because we are outside of the hurricane belt. That's what I've been told. But in terms of earthquakes, yes, we are prone to earthquakes. And most of the time, the earthquakes happen in Colombia and Costa Rica, east and west. And we feel like the what do they call that? I want to say outer band sounds like for the hurricanes, but we feel the rumble, like the epicenter is not in Panama. I read that the worst earthquakes that Panama had experienced was in 1882. It was a 7.9 earthquake. Ooh, that's a big one. But last year when I was here, I was sitting at my table in the dining room and the table did this. And I was like, uh-oh. And then when I read the news, yeah, we had an earthquake that originated in Colombia and we could feel it in Panama City. Now, I'm in a high rise, right? And there are lots of high rises here in Panama City. If there is a major earthquake, it's going to be a disaster. But we are close to the fault line, especially with the canal. They say if there was a bad earthquake, the canal would be affected, would be damaged. But, you know, they promise a big earthquake is going to run along all the lines along the Pacific. Well, we are along the Pacific. But we can't live our lives in fear, right? What will happen will happen. But yes, but Panama is not prone to hurricanes, but prone to earthquakes and rumbling, yes. So the answer is false. It's not both hurricanes and earthquakes. Got it? Okay. Number 16, Panama is very handicap friendly with widespread walkable sideways and handicap access. What do you think? Are you somebody with a handicap? What did your research say? What do people on YouTube like myself say? What does Aisha, who's living with cerebral palsy, what does she say? She's another YouTuber in my building. Panama is not known for being handicap friendly. No. In the city, the sidewalks in most neighborhoods are horrible, potholes everywhere. Several expats have broken their ankle because, you know, we're looking ooh and ah with our phone, taking pictures, and we step into something. So no, it's not. Even though when you get to a street corner, they have these depressions, the blue depression, where if you had a wheelchair, you could go down. But then when you go down, then you're going to have to go to the crazy sidewalks. The buses are not handicap equipped. I saw somebody in a wheelchair the other day inside the bus, and I was like, really? I'd never seen that before. But it took like 2 or 3 people to physically lift her and put her on the bus and lift her out. There is no lift on the buses for people in wheelchair. Okay. Even though the malls, I don't know about Multi-Plaza, but I saw at Albrook, they have wheelchair under some kind of an awning. You can go to information and say you want access to a wheelchair, and somebody will get you one, and it is free. The planned community of Costa del Este have wider walk paths, so it will be a lot easier to maneuver a scooter. But if you have like a manual wheelchair, you really, you know how in the States you see somebody zipping through across the road. No. So hopefully this is one area that the government is looking at. During the election, there was a candidate, I think he and his wife, they had a handicapped child, and it was going to be one of the ladies' platform, and I was very encouraged, but they didn't win. So I know the First Lady here is doing excellent work. So hopefully it's something they're going to be looking at, because Panama is very friendly to expats and retirees, but we're starting to ask the question, you know, are you ready for these people? Because as you get older, it's a matter of time before you have some mobility issues. So hopefully somebody will be looking at that. But right now, no, it's not handicap friendly at all. So the answer is false. 17, some myths about the rainy season. Oh my God, people get so worried about the rainy season. Does it rain all day? Oh my God, no, it does not. Someone said they likened it to Florida. Yes, when I moved to Florida, I had to get used to the sudden heavy downpours with lightning and everything. And then you drive a mile away, it's sunny. It's not quite like that, but rainy season runs. Okay, the question was like some myths about the rainy season in Panama. It rains every day for hours. That was A. No, it does not. Rainy season runs from May through November, December. Yes. None of the above is not an option. So the answer is B, right? But because of El Nino, La Nina, climate change, the patterns are not what they used to, because sometimes I wake up with thunder and lightning. Usually you're thinking, you know, it's going to happen in the afternoon, but sometimes it happens during the morning. So I tell folks that those of us who live here and the Panamanian, we don't let the rain stop us. In my bags, I have umbrellas. You just try to minimize you being out there in a heavy downpour. But if you have an appointment, you just go and you wear your umbrella, right? But we have had a lot of issues with flooding, especially in the western part of the country with Boquete, Alta Boquete, and in the comarcas. Oh, I don't think I talked about those yet. But there is a lot of concern about mudslides and floodings and little bridges collapsing. Yes, we have those. We have those. Personally, I don't drive here, but I wouldn't want to do long distance driving during the rainy season because you never know when you're going to get caught up in a downpour and which roads are going to be washed out, and it gets to be a danger. There was a lady the other day, she had to be in the hospital. She lives on a farm and she was wading through water. You don't know what's in the water. You can catch a flesh-eating bacteria. Just for those of us, single ladies, older ladies, SWRA sisters, stay away from flooded areas. Don't put your foot in there, okay? Keep yourself safe and keep yourself at home. But the rainy season should not deter you from visiting, okay? All right. 18. Oh, my time is running. The most popular visa for retirees is, now come on, you all know that answer. A, the friendly nation visa. It could be popular to people who are not of retirement age, want to retire early. Digital nomad visa, not necessarily for older ladies, older beauties like this commercial says. C, pensionado visa. Yay. That is the most popular visa for retirees. Those on Social Security or with pension, with lots of perks. This is not the place for me to go over every discount that we get, but know that it is the most popular type of visa here. It's not age specific, it's just based on income. Now I tell people, can that change? Of course it could change. We don't know. So take advantage of it while it's available. Number 19. Oh, this one's going to be controversial. The most popular music genre in Panama is cumbia, reggaeton. I love reggaeton. Salsa. Sí, la salsa. That's why I love Mark Anthony, right? But they love salsa here. And that was confirmed by my Panamanian friend. So if you're a Panamanian and you think it's something else, reggaeton or whatever, let me know. But it depends also who you're asking, because if you go in the interior, you're going to get the regional kind of music with the accordion, and it's a typical music of Panama where the guys sing and then the ladies wail at the end. I love it. I absolutely love it. But I think, if you're thinking globally, it would be La Salsa, and they have all kinds of concerts all the time. They have places that teach you how to salsa dance. I know how to salsa, but retirees are learning how to salsa dance every week. It's fun. It's fun. I love it too. Number 20, this feature makes Panama very attractive to retirees. That is a question. A, Panama has all 4 seasons. We just talked about that. We only have 2 seasons, dry season, rainy season. That's it. And I think it's all over South America too, because they have the same thing in Peru. And I remember they had the same thing in, what's that place where I went? Chile. So rain, dry. That's it, right? B says there are loose dogs and cats roaming the city at all hours. No, that is not true. We do have some loose dogs. I don't see many cats in Panama. People do not like cats so much, but they love dogs. In the interior, you're going to see more loose dogs, I guess, and cats. But in the city, they're supposed to be on their leash, although some owners don't. This lady just did a program saying she was bit by a dog whose owner lives in her building, and that's terrifying. But they have lots of dogs here. But you know what? I think Peru got us beat in the number of dogs. I saw dogs everywhere in Peru, even in Lima. Okay. So this feature makes Panama very attractive. The answer is none of the above. We don't have dogs roaming the streets and cats all throughout the city, and we don't have four seasons. So the answer is C. All right. 21, we're getting there. Panama's president is reelected every 5 years. I think we had a previous question that addressed that every 5 years. True or false? True. And no reelection, okay? They can go off, somebody else gets elected, they can also go back and rerun. 22, so these are the last three questions, four questions are very important. The indigenous population in Panama is semi-autonomous, and they live in areas called comarcas. And some of these comarcas are considered provinces because of their size. But the history of the indigenous people in Panama is a little bit complicated because earlier after independence or separation from Colombia, they wanted to modernize or westernize the indigenous people. Do people feel they need to do that? They come into your land, they take over your land, and then they want you to adopt their ways. Same thing in the US and Canada and Africa. Let's just stop this. It's like these stories keep being repeated over and over. So in 1925, there was a big uprising of one of the tribe, and finally they came to an understanding, and now it's like that both parties agrees to respect each other. I just love walking through the city and see the different indigenous groups, their dress, and they speak their own language, even though a lot of them speak Spanish, but they do have their tribal language that they keep, and I love that. I love that for them. So the question is true that they are semi-autonomous. They have their own, like a regional governor, and they have their own rules. This is why if you want to go visit an indigenous community, you have to get permission from the chief or whoever is in charge there, out of respect, right? 23, Panama counts 7 indigenous tribes. The 3 most well-known tribes are Gunayala, Embera Woman or Wunan, and then Gobe Bugle. I know I'm murdering those names. And I think those are comarcas. So when you say Panama has 10 provinces, you have to say and 3 comarcas. Comarcas means their land, their ancestral land. And I think in 2020, they added another one that makes it like 4 comarcas. Comarcas? I don't know how you say it, but it is true that they are semi-autonomous. So when you are in the streets and you're watching the indigenous people, I found out that the Guna Yala, they wanted their name changed from Kuna to Guna because they said they don't have K in their language, which is interesting. And they're the one in the San Blas area. And those are the ones that wear the mola shirt that you see on older ladies. They have the red thing over their head. What do you call that? It's a head cover. And then they have like a nose ring. And then they have the beads on their legs. That's interesting, right? And then the Embera, I think the Embera are the ones closer to the Darien, and those are the ones with the painting. You see the girls with the painting, and then the guys with all kinds of painting patterns on their bodies, right? And then Gobe Bugle are the ones close to Chiriquí and Bocas, and those are the ones you see in the flowy blue dress. Isn't that amazing? I just love that. But they are very, They want to maintain their identity, which is great. But access to healthcare education remains a challenge because they live like in the interior, out away from the cities and stuff. So access to road and all that, that's a concern. In fact, this year alone, we had some students trying to cross big river with all the rains, and they've had some drownings, and it, it's a sad situation. So number 24, we're almost there. Oh my God, look at the time. Panama's justice system is very strong and the death penalty is widely used. What do you think? True or false? There is no death penalty in Panama. I think there was an article 37 or something where they said that it's all about respecting human life. So there is no death penalty in Panama. And I read also that the highest prison sentence was 20 years. But last week, they gave this woman who killed her mother 30 years. So that's changing. Okay, so no death penalty. And the last question, 25, Panama. I was heartbroken today when I just decided to check. Panama is one of only 3 countries that are carbon negative. I mentioned that in a previous video. Panama has a lot of fauna and what's the other one? A lot of biodiversity and forests and trees, and all this rain keeps everything growing and green. So in 2019, Panama was given the designation as being one of 3 countries being carbon negative, meaning the forest traps most of the carbon dioxide that we produce, and not all of it gets into the atmosphere, which is what's causing all this climate change. But now they said it was Panama, Suriname, and Bhutan, which is in the Himalayas somewhere. But now in 2024, it says it's only Bhutan. Panama has gone down. So it says Panama now is now carbon neutral. So we trap half of the carbon dioxide and we don't let all of it escape in the atmosphere. So I don't know what the reason is for that and what criteria they use to measure that, but we no longer have that designation. So the answer would be false. Tired just going to all the questions, and I hope you stuck with me and that you found the exchange interesting. That, of course, it's not everything there is to know about Panama, but the thing about the indigenous groups and the political system and the death penalty, I hope you found that interesting. I'm not going to keep you any longer because it's like almost 50 minutes. This is the longest video. Please forgive me, but I thought it was an interesting thing to do. I hope you enjoyed it. Please remember to like, share, subscribe the video. We still love Panama. Panama has its challenges like everywhere, but the joie de vivre, the people, the food, everything else we love. So that's why we're here. And thank you, Panama, for allowing us to be here and enjoy this beautiful country with you. God loves you. I love you. You know that. Go keep it real. Au revoir. À la prochaine. Bonne journée. Bye bye.